love more. Mama, yeah.
Hi everybody, how y'all doing? Good day to you. Welcome back to another video on my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. This is your Blessedom TV. If you are new to my channel, I welcome you heartily. I hope you have a good time. I hope you subscribe and hit the like button, also the notification bell, so you know when I upload a new video. And as always, I like to say thank you to every one of you who continue to support this channel, who continue to watch my videos, who continue to give me this support. I appreciate your support. So I want to quickly give my own 2 cents about Jul Edochie marrying a second wife and introducing his new son to the world. And yeah, you are free to leave your own comments in the comment section, and let's hear what you have to say about it. So there's a lot of opinion going forth and back, and I've done a video already on my Facebook page, so you can also check that Facebook page, Blessedom page or Blessedom, so that you can also see the video I did earlier on. But in this video, I want to just kind of bring together the points I made, because the video I did on my Facebook page was like an hour video. I was just kind of going all around, bringing out different points. So the core points I want to make is the one of, first, betrayal and dealing treacherously with the wife of your youth. The Bible says it: do not deal treacherously with the wife of your youth, because it was expected that when you have a woman and she gave her youth to you, she gave birth for you, and she raised children for you, there's a level of commitment that is expected of you, in the regard that the man is there for her if she wants, if both of them want. So today, relationship is diverse in different forms, in different ways. I feel like everybody just have to find out what works for them. And monogamy has been adopted for Christians and Christianity, even though in the Bible there is no example of monogamy, honestly, because if you look at from Abraham to Isaac and Jacob, there is no monogamy there. To David, the people that are like the right hand men of God, you understand me? So you have polygamy and concubines even. So you don't have an example for monogamy in the Bible. But of course, monogamy is coming from Europe, and we know that, for example, we that we live in Europe, that Europeans don't do monogamy any time anymore. Europeans don't really do monogamy in the way we conceive it in our heart, that you marry one wife, you stay with the wife forever. It used to be like that, maybe modernity, to show that humans are not just mere animals, that humans can be more than just animal, following their animalistic instincts, you see. So now in Europe, what people do is they are married to one person at a time. So you have serial husbands, serial wives. So European men, they marry today, tomorrow they are not doing again, they move on to the next one. And the women, the same thing, they marry and then they move on, they say to another person. So that stringent this thing that you expect as Christian, as modern, it doesn't really exist like that anymore. Of course there are also exceptions. I'm not talking about special cases, I'm just talking in general. So when you come to our Igbo society, it used to be polygamous. And at the time the Igbo society was polygamous, women had their own things, women had their own farms, women had their own property. So you were a man married to different women in the compound. Every woman had her own house, had her own farms, had her own things, going to market, selling her own things. When the children come together, they retire to their mother's tent. You see, so the women are with the man, but they also have security on their own. And in pre-colonial Igbo society, the women were also free to divorce. When they marry, they divorce, they leave the marriage, they can remarry. It was very common. And more importantly, the women didn't have to change their names. They could keep the names, their own names. And they will still know them as the daughter of so person from so village. They never lose that identity. So modernity and Christianity brought it that the women have to change their name, and the women have to build with the men, one family, one household, and everything. So if this woman, for example, May Edochie, has built everything since her 20s together with Jul, and they have built a house, and they were doing my family, my children, my house, and all of a sudden Jul brings in another woman, then it's betrayal, because he's not carrying the wife along. they did not accept to, go on this path. It was not an agreement, but it happened, and if it happened, there is also room for us to consider the woman and the new child, because the child is dead, the child has already been born. And so basically what I'm saying is, monogamy is good if the two people are in agreement, and polygamy is also acceptable if the people involved are in agreement. I've seen people even here in the West who are going into polygamy voluntarily, and I've seen young people who don't even expect that they are going to be the only wife that their husband have. So there are people who are okay with polygamy. So you just have to make the agreement, you have to carry them along. And another thing I want to say is the notion that a man can marry as many wives as long as he can take care of them. That notion is past the age. In today's world, everything that men are doing, women are doing it. Are you a medical doctor? Are you a businessman? Are you a leader of a nation? Are you a leader of a business? Women are doing all these things. So you cannot be talking about the basis of taking care, because the women can also take care of their own families. The women can, raise their children. The women, as long as the women have children, they can already raise the children. You see, so on the basis of taking care, that one is backdated, because the women can also move on and say, I don't want to be with you again, I want to go and do something else, and that brings it to the point that now, if the wife, May Edochie, feels betrayed and feels let down, it is in her choice. Does she want to play the role of a first wife, or she wants to walk away? She can do that. She can seek for divorce and move on with her life and marry somebody else, and you can continue with the wife. So it depends on their agreement, if they can come together and reconcile and state the terms of their relationship, you see, and so they can come together and live together as a family, if you will. So the main problem that this is teaching young women now is, you can't build with a man, because he will wake up one day and he will say he wants to marry another woman, and then everything you have worked for becomes something that will be dragged. Inheritance. Especially when you have case of first wife, second wife, I'm older than you, I built all this thing, everything belongs to me, you don't get anything. You understand? Like in the story in the Bible where Sarah, the wife of Abraham, told her husband to take Hagar, the maid, as her wife, so that she can have children, because she cannot have children. And her husband actually impregnated Hagar. Her husband is Abraham, now gave birth to Ishmael, and Ishmael was growing, and for some reason they had a problem, and Sarah told her husband Abraham, send away this handmaid and her son away from me. And the woman was sent off with her child, and she had nowhere to go. She was in the wilderness, about to test to death, but God showed up for her and opened up a well for her. And the well was flowing with water, and she was able to drink and live. So if God can step in for that woman, that Hagar and Ishmael, and thus they are living, it means that irrespective of the fact that Sarah and Abraham were husband and wife, and Sarah had the rights as a wife and Hagar doesn't as a concubine or second wife, but that God still cared for their life and the life of that child Ishmael. And God preserved their life, because if it was not important, God would have just said, okay, no, I'm not having it, make una buy. But God didn't do that. So from the Bible story, you can see, and then if you look at Abraham didn't just have only Sarah. If you look into the Bible in the book of Genesis 25, you will see that Abraham had another wife, Kentura or something like that, and had other children and sons and concubines. So he had a lot of children and concubines, and when it was time, he gave all these other children gifts and sent them away from Isaac, and gave only Isaac his inheritance. And because only Isaac has the inheritance, that was why the wife had to do the trick, because she loved Jacob more. And the trick of the soup, and the voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau, you remember. So anyway, that is the story for another day. That's why they had to do that trick, so that Jacob would take the inheritance, because the inheritance were with Isaac. Anyway, so what am I saying? If you are looking in the Bible for actual examples of monogamy, you will rarely find it. What you will have is polygamy and the concubines. Is it King David, whose ways were good and favor in the eyes of the Lord? He had wives and concubines. Is it Solomon? Like, I don't know who you want to use as an example. And another example that we have is celibacy, people who didn't marry. Also, like people who didn't like Apostle Paul, that there was no history of him marrying or something like that. And people who are eunuchs, something like that. So anyway, what I'm trying to say in this is, we have to decide what we want to do. We cannot be blaming Europeans and say, oh, they brought this to us. You have to deal with your wife in a good way and come to agreement with her. You cannot just be imposing things on your family just because of your joystick. Like, life goes beyond your joystick. There are so many things. If you want to take a second wife, at least you can be looking at the temperament. Can this woman live with my family and there will be no fight? You understand? And then you will have to give room that the women will have their own properties, will have things in their name. Because that's how it used to be. They will have their own things that they can share for their own children, and then you can share your own things among all your children. But the women had the option to also share their, have their own things where they can be safe. That not that because of you they will be thrown off balance, they will not have anything anymore. So these are the things that women have to take into consideration nowadays. That as you are building with your husband, you have to keep put it in consideration that life happens. That brings me also to another topic. For example, in the US, we hear cases of women who are throwing in the towel and say they are not doing again. And then the man is like in his late 50s and 60s, and all of a sudden he's alone, he's single. Where's he going to start from? So it can be on both sides. So that monopoly that men had, that only them had choices, those days are gone. So any man that is thinking that I can just wake up and then I'll go and marry another woman because I can take care of her, you are living in another generation, and this generation of women are doing exploits. So they can only stay there because they want to. If they don't want to, they are going to leave. And so you have to take it into consideration that if you are doing this, your wife may leave and the new wife may leave, and then in the end you may be alone in your old age because you're not going to be youthful and bubbling all the rest of your life. And then finally, what I want to add to this is, you see that how they are taking down our young men in the name of IPOB. And many of you people are there supporting them and supporting that they want to go and fight Nigerian government, our unknown government, our government, our ESM. You forget that it is young lives of Igbo people that they are wasting. So at the end of the day, where do you think the children are going to come from? The people that will replace all these ones that are born, that they are cutting down. So another thing you have to take into consideration now is, if you are supporting IPOB and all the atrocities that is going on in the name of Biafra and this freedom fraud that they are carrying out in Alibo and wasting the life of youth, then you are welcome to a time of polygamy, because now there has to be polygamy. People have to remarry as many times so that they will be reproducing children that will replace all this one you people are cutting down. Because now you have all across Igbo land, young men are going, like what we are having now is some kind of strategic sterilization of the Igbo population, because they are taking away the male population, taking away young men, those ones that are all over the world, all those ones that are stranded, those ones in the prison, those ones that are dying, So it's not enough for you to be saying, yes, unknown government, IPOB, yeah, we are going to fight the Nigerian government, we are formidable. This is the time that, your husbands have seen how it is going to be. So Jul Edochie, to my understanding up until now, is an IPOB supporter. And he recognized the need to have more children. And all of you that are supporting IPOB, don't think your support is just for you to go and pay money so that they go and be buying bullets and killing people in that. No. You have to also surrender your husband so other women can raise children for him, so that you have enough children that will join the fight. Honestly, you see. So all in all, All in all, Jul Edochie has offended his wife. So the ball is in the court of the wife. If she wants to stay, if she wants to go, she has the choice. She's not a pauper. She has her own money. Hopefully, they will be able to find a solution. And for the beautiful baby boy, I wish him all the best. Just like God showed up for Hagar and provided water for them to drink, means that in spite of our feelings and our hearts, once life is involved, we have to put that into consideration. It's an example directly from God that if your husband gets involved with somebody and there's a child involved, you don't have any business to be mean-spirited, because God already showed us when Sarah drove away Hagar and meant for them to die in the wilderness, God gave them a well. Go and read it in the Bible. It is there. Okay, so I didn't make this up. This is what I'm saying. And generally, I'm not against polygamy. I am not against people's choices. Polygamy works for a lot of families. A lot of prominent families are actually polygamous. Polygamy works for people who accept it, who want to live by it. Monogamy also works for people who accept it and who want to live by it. And there are people who are experimenting also different things, so I feel like I cannot come and condemn people's choices, but I'm just looking at it from the aspect of how you are dealing with the wife of your youth that you have an agreement with, and you are coming along, and all of a sudden you are dropping her on the way. It's a lesson for everyone that life happens. When it comes to relationship, nothing is written and cast in stone. Everything can change in a blink of an eye. What you have today, tomorrow you may not have it. Everything is passing. Let's make use of the best that we have now when we have it. When we have our youth, let us use it. When we are elderly, let us hopefully benefit from what we have planted in our youth. You see, I hope that we don't wake up one day and ask ourselves where the youth went to, what we did with our time, so that we're able to reap the fruit of our labors, of our love, the fruit of our love. Oh God. That we are able to reap the fruit of our love in bounties. So my people, this is really all I want to say. If you want to know more about everything I said about this topic, please tune into my Facebook page. It was an hour-long video, so there was so many points raised also from my viewers, and we kind of had a conversation about it. Thank you guys. I hope you like this video. I'm really interested to see what you have to say. Let me hear your comments in the comment section. Hit the like button, please. It's very important. Subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Peace.
Even if the world is falling, me, I wanna be with you.